Hi everyone, it's Leslie here from Elegant Edges, and today I'm going to show you the thank you card that I'm sending out to my Stampin' Up customers for their February orders. The majority of customers seem to love this adorable owl set that was one of the free sets in Celebration, which is an annual event now from Stampin' Up, where you get an item free with an order over £45. And this is just absolutely so sweet. Thick rubber stamps, red rubber, quality stamps, and they make the most adorable little creatures. I've made several cards with them, and there are some other videos on YouTube with me using them. So these little characters are going to form part of my thank you card today with this set. So I think it would be a nice inspiration for my customers who actually purchased or got that with their orders. So this is my prototype card. It's designed to be pulled. As you can see, I've got a little thank you underneath and lifted. So it's different to other cards of this style that I've seen that have got this element, which is a bit like a variation on a waterfall, and a bit like a kind of spanner card, so it's a little bit different. So that's what I'm going to be making, obviously with Stampin' Up papers, not scraps that I've had lying around for ages. So here we go. So I've done lots of preparation. Here's my base card, and my base card measures 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. So that's across the width of the A4, cut at 5 3/4. I've scored it at 4 1/8, and you can see these two cuts. Let me get my crib sheet to tell you exactly the size, or a ruler. I've actually cut up, and you see it's 3/4 of an inch and then a 1/16 past it. So it's 13/16, but it's much easier to go 3/4 and a bit from each side, and that leaves a square in the middle, 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, which is a lot easier to work with when you've got a square. Then these two flaps, you could either stick them down, but I'm going to trim them off. So I'm going to get my nice sharp snips. I love these. You cut right to the point. I have to excuse me sniffing, I've got a little bit of a cold. So right to the point. And I cut off the crease as well, because it makes a nicer finish. There we go. They can do for bits of stamping. So that's my base card. Then I'm going to line it with white so that we've got some nice card to write on. This is my all-purpose glue. It's Tombow, the way we call it. I've just decanted it into a little squeezy bottle so I get a finer line. So I'm going to line the card with that. Try and get the edges approximately even, and that means that these sides you peek through. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to put on are the papers on the top. So I've got another white layer here. So that was 4 1/4. So this is 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. Whoops. Again, I'm going to try and get the lines matched up as well with these edges here. Right, this is my DSP, but I'm not going to stick it down just yet. Okay, so that's another 1/4 inch smaller. So 3 7/8. That's 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. I'm going to make a cut across the middle in a moment. I've got 2 other pieces of the DSP, but I think just for a change I'm going to turn them around the other way, just so you get a different view across the front. So I'm going to do that first. This is lovely DSP was also very popular. Now this time I'm going to try and get, ooh, come down, trying to get the edges lined up, and if it goes under this edge, it doesn't matter. I only want one mauvey edge to show, so I've purposely cut it so that it goes under just slightly. I'll pop all the dimensions on the blog, so don't worry if I miss one out or you have to try and write one down. I'll pop them all on the blog. So there we are. We'll have a nice sort of change now with the two designs, the back of one and the front. So if you got the Dandy Designs this month, this isn't something else that you can do, showing both sides of your paper. Okay, so I've cut the flippy panels on here from the die set called Stylish Shaped Dies. I've used the squares, and you can see I've used the largest one and one down for the top layer, and for the second layer I've used numbers 3 and 4. The tiny one I stamped with Thank You, which comes from the Something Fancy die set, die and stamp set. Really useful. They've got lovely tags and very useful collection of stamps, so we use that. Okay, so what am I going to do first? Let me layer these up. So I have a little one first. I'm using wet glue, but I mean you could use your glue of choice. I just love the way you get just a fraction of a second, not long, just have a little wiggle. And once it's stuck, it's really well stuck, so that's good. Oops, bit of glue there. Let me get my eraser. That's where I use some washi tape to hold it as I die cut the shapes. Okay, so that's those stuck. Now this is the tag to do the pull. Oops, this bit here. So it's 6 1/4 by 1 7/8, and I've scored it 1 7/8 from the end, and then another 1/2 inch along. Okay, and this is what makes the pull out section. And to get this fancy edge, I was just going to show you how I did it. I've got this 3-in-1 punch, and I've used this fancy shape here. Now you just have to remember to get the right end in. Oh, I nearly got the wrong one then. Okay, so you stamp it once and then flip it to get the mirror image, just like that. And then to get the little hole for your ribbon, you can see you've got a section here which is halfway, and I'm just going to eyeball it. Nice flat edge, make sure it's flat. There we are, easy. Now can you see I didn't flip it properly, and I haven't got a mirror image, so that's just to show you, that was my spare one, how important it is. Go in one way, this way, and flip it. And I obviously did not flip it. Will it work? Well, no, it didn't. So let's try the other end just to show you. In, flip. There you are. But you have to flip it. You can't just turn it round, because otherwise that will happen. Okay. So that's the punch out of the way. So to make a cut here, we need it just a bit wider than 1 7/8, so about 2 inches. So I'm going to mark this. I'll mark it on the front because it's going to be hidden. It'll be easier to cut. So we've got 3 5/8, and there's our halfway mark. And we want it sort of 2 inches in the middle. So where are we? 4, say 1 1/4 and 3. That's, should have worked it out really, shouldn't I? That's 1 inch. So we need it about here and here. What have I got there? Yep, that's right. So we need to make a slit across the middle, and it needs to be about 2 inches. So if that's a little short, it doesn't matter. I can always extend it with my snips. Yep, looks in the middle. So I'm going to get my trimmer, just pop it, in there. Just make sure I'm in shot. It's just past 1 inch. Just down to about here. And then I'm going to move it over a fraction. And I'm just going to finish that off with the snips. And this is going to create a slit and an opening for me to put the card through. So just going to tidy it up. Now it should be hidden, but so try and be a little bit tidy. If you have a punch that will make an opening, that would be brilliant. Okay, so I'm just going to rub off those pencil lines, just gently. So, have I made it wide enough? Let's have a look. Oh, just. So, well, hello again, I'm back. This is about take 4. Note to self, don't try and make a video when you're full of cold. So, this was the card I made. Sadly, the recording stopped, so I've got another one prepared, and I'm just going to pop back in and sort things out. So I believe I got as far as making the tab. Just get rid of the crumbs. This was the tab, and you can see I've popped some red liner tape on there. I think some glue would help though, wouldn't it? What have I done with my glue? There it is, it's hiding. Okay. Here is my base card. Already prepared. My DSP for the top with the slit cut in the middle. Okay. And this is where that's going to go through. So I'm going to pop it through from the other way. Just like that. Okay, so we've got it folded over, red liner tape. This was the 1 7/8 score, then a further 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to peel the backing off the red liner tape. A bit will come. Next game, will it come off? Ah. There, it's coming now. Come on, backing off you come. Oh, it's having a fight today. Okay, so backing's off. I'm going to put a little bit of glue down this side because the tape wasn't wide enough. And this is the large one where the owl will go. So I'm going to turn it around this way so it's got, you can see better. I'm going to line it up so it's in the middle as best I can, making sure that I don't go over this edge. And because they're both the same colour card, if there's a slight peak of the card below, it's not going to matter. It doesn't look too square. But not bad that side. How are we looking? No, okay. Too late, it's down. Okay. Then the 1 7/8 square on here, we're going to glue all over, and this is where the small square where I stamped thank you is going to go. We're going to pop that down here, rub it in all over. Yep, looks good and square. Okay, now I've put ordinary double-sided tape on the back, and what we're going to do now is just hold it in place, hold it with my fingers, and what I want to do is to get this square approximately centered. So as best you can do, I'm just going to eyeball it. Now I've let go, but I'm not pressing, I'm not putting any weight on it, so that looks pretty good. Down. Okay, just press. So this is the mechanism that's there, and it works really well. Now all we've got to do is to add the mechanism to the base card. So I'm going to hold it in place, and you can see what I don't want to do is to put any glue under here. I'm just going to go down those 3 sides. I've got wet glue in my hand, so wet glue it is. You can go down there a little bit, but not too far, because we don't want to get it onto the tab. Hold it again in place. That's it. Line it up. In the middle. And then just press down on those 3 sides. My bone folder, give it another little press. So, that's our basic. I'm going to let it dry just for a second, okay? So what I would do then is add the owl again here, and on the inside, opening it carefully because the glue's not dry, that would be where my thank you went. So this was my first card with the owl and the thank you. Cute little owl inside. And you can see that mechanism works really well. Inside, pop an owl if you want. Plenty of room to write. Lovely thank you card. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.